No mai haere mai. It's the Huddy Hui. Find Huddy Sports on Instagram and Facebook. huddysports.co.nz. Now let's kōrero.
Kia ora and welcome to the Huddy Hui, episode 139, and it's babysitting duties here on the Huddy Hui tonight. Got the nephew here. He might ask a few questions as well. Don't hold it against him. He does play for Huddle Boys Maris, don't you, Ryder?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so he's going to be joining us tonight with our guest, former All Black hero and coach of the Wellington College First 15, Piri Weepu, is our guest on the Hui tonight. Piri, many thanks for coming on. Big challenge to kick off the First 15 pre-season for Wellington College this Saturday, taking on last year's Super 8 champions, Tauranga Boys. How is Wellington College approaching this match?
Kia ora, kia ora. Yeah, I guess after last year's campaign, Nemi's gone out and given us a good opportunity to play some top teams to set us up for this our college sports here in Wellington. So yeah, it's going to be a tough game, but we're looking forward to it. I mean, we're still in the trialing process and selection process for our first 15 and our second 15. So yeah, we're chipping away at it. Boys have had this week off. We pretty much thrashed them last week and got all the rugby content we needed to last week to make sure that the boys are fizzing and good to go on Saturday. But yeah, we're actually looking forward to the opportunity.
It's not the first game for Wellington College this year. What was the previous game you played, and who are some of the other pre-season games on the menu this year?
So we've played against OBU, which is one of our, which is pretty much the first game that we always play with is in our trials. We were meant to play New Plymouth Boys as well, and we played fielding in our pre-season hideout. And then last week we had a in-house trial, just since New Plymouth pulled pin, we decided to have an in-house game to set us up. But I guess other pre-season games is Napier Boys, Hastings Boys. We get an opportunity to go up to Hamilton and play Hamilton Boys as well, which is pretty exciting. I think the boys are pretty excited about that. And then we go away to camp next week on Monday, and at the end of the week we get a chance to have game scenarios against Rotorua as they prepare to go to Japan, I think it is. Or they go overseas. I know they go overseas.
Hamilton Boys High School, I believe that's for the Moaska Cup as well.
Yeah, didn't really want to talk about it just in case, the boys get ahead of themselves. But main thing is for us just to make sure that we're heading in the right direction starting next week after the end of our camp, that we play a good solid game against Rotorua in the scenarios, and then set us up for Hastings Boys and Napier Boys. And then, yeah, hopefully the last game is against Hamilton Boys, and the boys get an opportunity to play for a trophy that I have seen in old photos at my college of Te Kariti. Never had the opportunity to have a crack at it while I was at school or even be close to it. So this is something that I'm actually looking forward to. So yeah, it's when you're playing for something that's quite special, that's probably older than the log of wood, I think it is. Yeah, it's a pretty special thing.
First 15 were second in the Wellington final last year, but you have a lot of players back from last year's campaign. Who has returned, and who are some of the new players to watch out for in season 2025?
We've got a lot of the boys that have come back. our pack's looking okay. We're a little light in a couple of areas there. I don't think we have anyone that's got the same caliber as Harry, our captain last year, but we're
Mm.
not far off there. We're chipping away at it. We know we've got a little bit of talent coming through, so this is our chance to sort of bleed them before they get to year 13 with Lefone. Um, uh, I mean, most of our back three loose forwards are still there. I think only one that we've really lost is, or two actually, is in Illy and Ollie Church, but we've still got Les, Fitz, and we've got a couple of boys that played a couple times with us last year, like Jack Robinson. But with our backlines almost the same as last year. Just maybe one player that we could potentially have in our team, or two new players in the back line. With Navrin, who's come from St. John's in Hamilton, and also Rico Potama, who can play in the back three as well. So yeah, I think maybe one lock that's coming. Taniela, who's come from Piri College, and we've got a couple other boys that we're looking at. Hopefully, that can stay within the laws of the game and new to school and things like that. So yeah, we're making sure that we cross the T's and dot the I's around that area there. But we've got a few boys that are new to school that we're having a good look at to make sure that we make the right decision.
Coaching group at Wellington College has been together for the last 3 seasons. Pretty much could call it the All Black coaching group. How do you all work alongside each other?
Well, obviously, head honcho with Namir as the director of rugby, so he pretty much has final say on everything. But myself is one of the coaches, and we've got actually Anthony Mr. Rehutai, who's joined our coaching staff this year. And that's pretty much it at the moment. Uh, John's doing a bit of resource coaching for us this year, and not only just us, but a lot of the our teams in the school. And our management's pretty much like our managers are still the same. We got Charles and Ray and our physio, and CJ's actually come back on board as our trainer, which is good. Otherwise, the boys will have to do some work with Namir and I, and they won't like that.
But it's also just not the first 15 that's improved. Rugby in general has grown significantly over the last few years. What has been the catalyst for that change?
I think Namir's with the help of myself trying to help promote um, the rugby program at the school, trying to get all our teams on board in terms of development, right from our under 55s all the way to our under 15 golds, and then our senior school still getting that opportunity to be coached by some good coaches, but having a game plan. So rather than sort of just winging it a bit and the boys just mucking around with trying to give them a bit of structure to help them out. And it's up to the coaches how they want to pull that structure together, as long as we sort of give them the blueprint to help guide them. And if they don't understand or don't know how to come up with to get teach it or coach it to the boys, that's where we come in and try and help them out. So it's been a long and slow process, but we're slowly getting there, and we're just trying to make sure that we get the right people and the right teams to help grow this rugby program.
And recently you had a group of Japanese students visit recently for a bit of a rugby experience. It's a part of a rugby program that you and Namir have worked hard on.
Yeah, so we obviously went to Japan last year with Mata and Mike, who organised everything with with Tosh, one of our parents, with Rio's father, who had a few connections. So that worked out really well for us to go over there, do some coaching clinics, and create some friendships and relationships with some of the universities over there. And we were lucky enough to go to D-Rocks, and which is one of the clubs in Japan. And yeah, just slowly chip away at it. We had, like you said, we had 9 kids come over, and thoroughly enjoyed it. I tell you what, their work ethic is huge. Like, um, Namir and I pretty much put them through their paces, and they just wanted more every time. And like Namir and I were like, oh, it's a bit different over here. You don't just hammer and tong on everything. You pick and choose your battles, and when the right ones are suitable for you guys. So we had to teach them a few things, not to train sort of every day. That every day, after every session, there was an opportunity for them to work on things that they might have just learnt, but just to have a bit of a break from everything, and do like recovery and things like that. So there was a few learnings for them around that, but they thoroughly enjoyed it. And um, I think all the parents that the homestay families really enjoyed the students' company. I know their English wasn't the greatest, but they still understood things, and yeah, just had happened to pull together, and it was pretty successful. So we got some good feedback from them, and obviously me, Namir, and Mike. Um, we've got a few things that we need to tidy up for if we do get another opportunity with more students come over. Since Mata's decided not to retire, not actually retire, he still wants to continue playing. So it would have been good to have him over here, but obviously he's trying to play until the wheels fall off, which is cool.
Yeah, no, he's oldest player to play top 14 rugby. Still going, unbelievable. But also, you're employed at Wellington College as well. What is your role there?
So at the moment, I'm a mentor at the school, so I try and show face so that all the boys understand the reason I'm there. Say hello, even though I might not know the kid, but it's just sort of they might at some stage want to have a conversation and then get to know who they are. So when there's a few kids that are sort of lagging a bit when it comes to attending school, they kind of get sent to me, and I just try and talk to them about why they're sort of showing up to school late or getting to class late, why they're not coming to school, a lot of things like that, and make them understand that, like, mum and dad are going to get a fine if you don't show up to school. Do you really want that to happen? And I'm pretty sure that mum and dad won't be happy about that. So yeah, just try and sort of get to know them better and understand them on a different level, so that I can sort of help them without being like a counselor, so to speak. Just there to sort of, if they want someone to chew the fat with, then I'm always there to chew the fat. Although sometimes some of them, they come to see me and they're hungry, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm pretty hungry too. Let's go for a feast. So it costs me a bit sometimes.
Now, you also help out at Whitby Collegiate as well. You do a few Te Reo Murray lessons there at the school for the 7s and 8. How's that been?
Yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed helping out in that space, trying to teach, te reo to kids that know a little bit. So it's just trying to understand how much they know, and what I can add to what they've already got. Can be a struggle at times, I'm not going to lie. Some of the kids, in terms of their attention span, is very short. So it's trying to make sure that they're not constantly just sitting there looking at their device, acting like they're doing work when they're probably playing games. So I'm constantly up walking around, and you can see them quickly change their screen. They must think that I was born yesterday, but it's quite funny seeing some of the you get to know the kids, and which ones are pretty sharp with that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's been good. I've thoroughly enjoyed my time helping out in that teaching space with these tamariki, and if anyone's out there and wants to give me a hand to teach a proper lesson and how it should be structured, I'd be willing to sit down and have a conversation about it.
Yeah, particularly knowing these kids today, especially this one, they're always on their devices. Cheeky, aren't you? Yeah, there we go. So, yeah, don't mince your words for this one. Where did your junior rugby career begin for you?
Ooh, it wasn't junior rugby, it was actually junior league. I played at Wellington Rugby League. And so played my first ever game of rugby at Parkway Intermediate. And I think I only played like one or two games, still had no idea what I was doing. Then went to boarding school, to college, and that was when I actually played proper rugby. Um, Bit nervous, didn't know what I was up to, didn't know what position I'd be in. So gave everything a crack when I was year 9 and year 10. Just because you're young enough to have a crack at anything you really want, and if it's no good, you don't play that position again. But yeah, it wasn't until I played at Te Kariti that I learned a little bit about rugby. So I started pretty late in the piece, and every time I come home though, I would always go and play a league, not rugby.
Yep. So, of course, your introduction to rugby league, you were there when Wainui won the national title, and you were a young lad. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I think it might have been about 7 when I was ball boy, and we obviously won. We'd done pretty well in the late 80s, early 90s. Been in a few finals, and yeah, made the trip all the way out to Carlaw Park as a kid. And Ken was obviously Ken Laban was our captain at the time, and there's a photo of him and I. I'm walking out with him holding his hand as we go out onto Carlaw Park, and it was a very special thing for me being a part of it. A few uncles that were in the team. We also had the Lomax brothers, 4 Lomax brothers in the team at the time as well. Yogi Rogers, the Partir brothers. Like the list goes on and on. But a few of those players actually got a chance to go play in the NRL and the Winfield Cup. Johnny was one of them, and his brother David. Yogi Rogers obviously got an opportunity, and Ali Davies too. And then later on, Tana had an opportunity as well, and ended up coming home to play for Batoni. And obviously, we know the history about how good he was. But yeah, that was sort of a stepping stone for me. The league club was literally my second home as a kid growing up, and I was pretty much walked around the streets with my cousins down to the league club with a league ball as we tried to get there as quick as possible to act like we were premier players, but we were only kids.
Now, as you mentioned, you attended Te Aute College. In your final year, you were the head boy and the first 15 captain. Tell us about receiving those honours in your final year.
So when I sort of did my interview, so to speak, to apply as a prefect. All I wanted to be was a prefect, really. I didn't want to be the head boy. I just wanted, since I was a junior, wanted to have morning tea. That's all I cared about the whole time I was here. I was like, I want to have morning tea one day when I get to year 13. That's exactly what I want to do. So I'll make sure I'm a prefect. But I was fortunate enough that because it was selected by the students, they decided to pick me as the head boy, which was a shock to me. I thought that there was a few other people that stood up to do their whakauru about why they wanted to be a prefect and head boy. Probably deserved it a bit better than me, but yeah, it was pretty special for me. I knew I was there just to stand for the students, not just be told what to do. And yeah, it was lucky enough to get that on as the head boy. And then fortunate enough to captain the first 15. Um, I thought there would have been a few other boys that deserved it more than me, but yeah, I got given that opportunity and thoroughly enjoyed that. My biggest one was when I was third form, year nine. I remember lining up and doing the haka for the first 15, going down onto our number one field for traditionals, and I knew from that day that I wanted to be in the first 15. That's all I wanted to do was just walk. I didn't care if I was sitting on the bench or not. My main goal was to make sure that I wanted to walk down that line and experience exactly what I'd done when I was a junior. So yeah, I was very fortunate enough to be part of that the first 15 and the captain as well.
Wellington debut in 2003, and you played in the final versus Auckland. What was it like playing alongside Christian Cullen? And what can be done to bring the NPC back to life?
Look, when I first got my opportunity to be in camp with the Wellington Lions through Plums and Chris Boyd, I was honestly never thought I'd ever get to step on the field and play next to Cully. Like the way that he used to just glide on the field was huge. So getting to rub shoulders with him was huge, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I remember my first game we played against Southland against the Stags, and I knew I was nervous the night before, so uh, actually rang a few of my mates, and we were in Courtney Place playing in time zone, playing spaces all night for a few hours just to get over my nerves the night before. So it actually worked out really well. I wasn't nervous after I spent a couple hours with my mates at time zone playing spaces and things like that, and it kind of gave me a good opportunity to put my best foot forward the next day because I didn't have any nerves at all. I was still nice and relaxed from spending the time with my mates. But yeah, in the final, obviously, I've been in many finals with Wellington Lions, and we've always come up short, which was, a tough pill to swallow because you work your ass off so hard during the NPC campaign, and it just seems to, I don't know, play up, and you just don't get that opportunity again. So yeah, it was pretty tough, but yeah, I don't know what we need to do in NPC. I guess it's not just NPC. It's a bit like Super Rugby as well. I
Mm.
feel like there needs to be a bit more entertainment, more things involved that encourages people to come along. Um, I think we're not doing a great job around that. I feel like places like Japan, they do a lot
Yes.
to encourage people to come along to games with their build up to the games. But it's a tough one because I know people don't really want to go to a stadium when the food is a bit stale sometimes. It's been sitting in the old oven for a bit, waiting for someone to buy. But I think if they can encourage people to come to games a bit better with some of the entertainment and engagement stuff like that on their way into the stadium, I think that's one way moving forward that they need to put a lot of emphasis on that.
Yeah, totally agree. In particular, the stadium food. It's anything like tuna sandwiches. They're not too good at the stadium. But also from 2004 to 2011, you played for the Hurricanes. And what was your best moment playing for the Hurricanes in Super Rugby?
Oh, any opportunity wearing the jersey, to be honest. It doesn't matter where you're starting or on the bench. It was getting that opportunity to represent our area, our franchise, and our union, and our little unions as well that make up the Hurricanes. So that'll probably be one of the best ones. And then I guess not only that, I got to do it with one of my best mates that I grew up with, which is Namir.
Mm.
And then we also become good mates with Martin, so he's become one of our best mates as well. So yeah, that was probably some of the most memorable parts, and uh, getting to know my teammates over the years. Not every year we have the same team, so it was quite tough to get to know someone and then they don't quite make the team the next year. So the best part is actually learning about your teammates and well, your new teammates and what they're like and what they enjoy doing on their time off.
2006, the Hurricanes made the Super Rugby final, the Fog final. One, should the game have gone ahead? And two, do you remember much of the game?
One, know they should never have continued with the game. And two, I don't remember anything. All I remember is the national anthem, and that was it.
Oh, wow.
After
Jeez.
being pretty much, I got concussed in the game and knocked out pretty cold. You can only just see it. I think that they were lucky enough to get some of it. But yeah, I don't remember much. I remember finally understanding where I was at about 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, jeez.
And then I realized I need to go home because something's sort of not going too well here, especially if I don't understand if we won or not, and why I was out with the team drowning our sorrows. So you realised at 1 o'clock in the morning what was where I was and what had happened, and then I decided to go back to the hotel and actually relax a bit to make sure I knew I was all good.
Super Rugby today, the competition seems to be pretty exciting this year, a bit more even competition. But are we missing the South African teams in Super Rugby?
Yeah, I think we are. I actually think we are missing the Saffers. Like, I know it's always a tough slog for them because they're usually on the road for at least 5 or 6 weeks on competition. And that's a tough ask for them to travel over to here and also to Australia to play footy. But yeah, I actually think that we're struggling a bit without them. But at the same time, I've been enjoying Super Rugby this year. I feel the games are a lot more even, and you sort of quite entertained with the way that everyone's playing. Not just our Super Rugby franchises here in New Zealand, but the way that the Australian teams are playing now that they're down to 4 teams. But like even with Moana Pacifica and the Drua, it's been more entertaining this year than it has, I guess, the last couple of years, and I've enjoyed the way that all teams are sort of expressing themselves when they play.
Not long after you've made your debut for Wellington, etc. 2004, you were selected in the All Blacks for the first time. Who was your debut against?
My debut game was against Wales, Carter Farms, and or Millennium, and I remember that because the week before we were in Italy, in Rome, and I didn't want to leave. Smithy told me that I need to hurry up and pack my bag, and get on the plane, um, because I just fell in love with Italy. It was a beautiful place to be in. So yeah, I struggled a bit to try and leave that place, but yeah, my first game for the ABs was against Wales, and was made special that my older brother was there with his wife, and a couple of my mates made the trip over, and two Munga Marshall, we played basketball and rugby, and also our other mate who's a golfer, and Shane Kawiti, so they made the trip over, and it was cool to have them over there. And the other part to that was Tana handed me my very first All Blacks jersey. So yeah, that was a pretty special moment for me to get my first jersey handed to me by Tana and play at Millennium.
Ryder, you got a question for Piri about his All Black career?
Yeah.
Who was your toughest person to play?
So who was the
Ooh.
toughest person you played
Good
against?
question, that one. I'd probably say George Gregan, because he was on fire when he was playing. I remember when I started watching rugby that he was coming through and was pretty dominant in like his era when he was coming through. They had a pretty solid Wallabies team, to be honest. But just watching him play, I remember playing against him my very first well, no, might have been my second start. We played against the Brumbies, and like he was telling me what I was going to do, and I ended up doing it like a couple of seconds later, and it kind of threw me off a bit. And it was weird that someone like Gregan, who pretty much would tell me what I'm going to do before I even did it, and I was thinking, mate, this guy's a genius. Like, is he like knows exactly what I'm doing? Is he reading my mind? Because he is on point with everything that he's telling everyone. So just that, and then obviously when the boys didn't get the job done, and he had it the 4 more years saga. But yeah, he was pretty much one of the toughest that I ever went up against. Yeah, obviously big forwards, but psychology. If you're trying to play mind games, he was definitely one of those ones.
Yeah, exactly. 2011, you became a folk hero in New Zealand, a tournament full of drama, Rugby World Cup 2011. The team went through 4 first fire, and you had the thrill of taking over the kicking duties, and you turned into a bit of a famous meme, keep calm, Piri's on.
Oh,
Tell us about that tournament.
yeah, that was actually a pretty special tournament. Not just for me, but for my family as well. But at the time, we had a bit of a ban on social media, so I never really looked into all that kind of stuff, and didn't know that all that stuff was happening. So I didn't understand it until later on. But I was just lucky enough that we had done a few things to help us out. Obviously, we lost Tri Nations to South Africa in South Africa, and then went to Brisbane, lost to the Wallabies, and then from there, it kind of helped us or set us up for our tournament because we knew exactly what we needed to work on. And so we executed that to make sure during the World Cup, especially around the playoffs, that we were well prepared for it. And so all the work that we had done, which was around being mentally tough, helped us to be pretty successful. I was just lucky enough that we'd done a lot of the hard work before we got to the final, or even the quarters, to be honest. Just because we had practiced it before we got to the World Cup, and then we were able to execute it, especially around the knockout stages, which is not easy because we knew that every game that we played in the World Cup was going to be pretty much like a final. So we had to make sure that we trained like it was going to be a final and played every game like it was going to be a final. So the scenario of Dan going down, what do we do next? So we had talked about the what ifs. What if Desi goes down? What if Slady goes down, Colin Slade? So we ran those scenarios, not just talked about it, but we actually practiced all those scenarios. And so before we got to the final, I actually knew from all the hard work that we had put in that we would go to the final and win it. That's how confident I was because I felt mentally we were prepared for whatever was thrown at us. So we had obviously a few more opportunities to win the game if we really needed to. in that final. But yeah, we pretty much talked about those scenarios, and we knew how to execute every single step on what we needed to get the job done.
And in the final, you got injured in the warm-up. What happened?
So because I've got a pretty mean kicking coach in Nick Byrne, Smithy didn't think that I was taking the kicking duties very well and seriously. So I started practice kicking during the week. Usually don't. I just kick on game day, only because of all the stuff that I learned through Mick. And the other part to it is I didn't want to. I didn't want it to put me off if I was having a shocker during the week. So yeah, in the warm up, I felt like it was gonna go, and then so yeah, pretty much went to do one of my kicks and had pulled my hip flexor or my groin actually, and then for some reason I thought I will go into the change room like they were going to fix it just like that, like it was going to heal.
Yep.
I don't know, they might have done a Mr. Miyagi on me. but yeah, before the final, I had injured my groin, and which sort of hindered me in terms of my kicking abilities, and I kept pulling the ball because I knew that I was going to be worse off if I tried to kick it properly. So yeah, got injured in the warm up because of that.
And of
We
course,
still got the job done.
got the job done, and particularly the winning the final 8-7 over the French. The elation of full time, knowing that a long 24 years had come to an end.
Yeah, I think it was more. I was excited at the same time, but I was like more happy for the boys that missed out in 2007. The likes of Richie, Ali, Millsy, and co that didn't get the opportunity, knowing that we had pretty much the best team on paper to get the job done. But for us in 2011, once that final whistle went, you see Ali and Richie both hugging each other, and that's pretty much all the pressure that was on, especially on Richie. He obviously is our leader, does a pretty good job as a captain, but a lot of relief for him. And the best part too was we got to do it at home, so it made it even more special.
2014, you had a health scare, and you've been part of a New Zealand rugby campaign recently. Tell us what happened.
So I was in doing recovery. We played the Crusaders the other day before, and we were doing recovery, and I was in the pool with Peter Saley, Charles Pietol, and I think might have been George Moala. Doing our recovery in the pool lengths and all that. We were traveling to South Africa that day. And then I just, for some reason, couldn't string normal words together. So I was trying to have a conversation with the boys in my head. I'm saying these words, but I could hear back what was coming out of my mouth, and I was thinking, hey, what the hell is going on here? I was like trying to have a conversation. I'm just like, I'm like, oh, bro, what the hell was that? And so because I got frustrated, I jumped out of the pool, got changed, and was trying to figure out what the hell was going on, and jumped in the car and drove home, trying to message our team doctor, and pretty much had a bit of a kip, and managed to finally speak properly to well, not, I wouldn't say properly, but speak to my cousin, and she helped me out so that we could go and speak to our team doctor. I actually thought I was concussed, but then I listened to our team doctor's conversation he was having to get a second opinion, and they did talk about symptoms of a stroke, but thought more that it was just maybe a migraine of some sort. So yeah, it was a bit of a scary one. We flew to South Africa that afternoon, or Australia then to South Africa, and still wasn't feeling good there. But we came home and I said to Doc, look, there's something wrong with me, man. Like, we need to go and get checked out. So got a checkup and yeah, found out I had a hole in the old ticker. But everyone's born with it. Just I think it's 67% or 65% people don't know if it's closed or not. So yeah, found out that it was a hole in the ticker and had surgery. It was like a bit of a cuff link that they explained it to me, and was out of it. They gave me an injection and they went through my main artery in the hip, and I was watching the screen going, oh, what's that? What's going on here? And you sort of see like this thing going into a tube on the screen, and it's actually them going into my artery, following it all the way to the ticker. And I go to the doc. I was like, "Oh, are you doing that now? I thought you were putting me to sleep." He goes, "No, we're halfway there, mate." I'm like, "Holy!" And I'm just like staring at these screens, going, "Oh my God, don't panic, don't panic, don't panic. Just watch the screen, don't panic." It's like it was a pretty quick process actually, and then yeah, just gave it the old stitches, put it back together, and it was a pretty quick process, to be honest.
Yeah, it's incredible knowing that statistic you mentioned. Yeah, it's not, you wouldn't really know, but you finished up your rugby career in 2017, played a few years overseas, and then you moved into coaching. What was behind your motivation to get into coaching?
I obviously asked at Wide Up if they'd be keen to have another coach on board with them, and so they were pretty excited about that, and I was like, yeah, pretty keen to give it a bit of a crack, and yeah, done that. My first year of coaching was with the Wide Up Bush in the Heartland, where I'd just hung up the boots, and from there I came back and got asked to coach at club level, and thought, "Wow, hang on, what if I actually want to play club?" But didn't decide to do that, which was a great idea not to do it. And yeah, got into coaching, stayed with Batoni for I think it was 4 years before Namir asked if I would be keen to help him out at Wellington College, where I've been for the last three years.
Now, I've also hear you run alongside your brother a very good hunting experience, as I heard from this very popular auction at Whitby Gala dinner last year. Tell us about that.
So we had we played a game last year for autism, and one of the prizes, my brother decided to put up a item of we take someone out hunting. Obviously, we go over to Wairarapa, to Martinborough, to a friend's block, and take people over there for a bit of an experience. So um, with my brother, obviously, there's a few silly stories that come with him. But him and I together, we're pretty much stupid. Like, we do silly stuff together. Like, we just mock the shit out of each other, roast each other for the days and days. And it's actually quite entertaining. I'm surprised him and I haven't been in front of the camera for my own TV series more often, because the amount of you know roasting that gets done when the cameras are put away. Honestly, you can make a documentary on it, mate. We just give it to each other, but we love it, we enjoy it. So yeah, one of the boys decided to put their hand up and buy the auction, and we're pretty excited to take people out. It's not something that I always want to do, because sometimes I'm too busy to bloody get an opportunity. But yeah, we're pretty excited to take people out. He's always a deckhand if I take people out on the water, and if not, him and I just go for a bit of a laugh out on the hills because obviously we're not too fit when it comes to hunting. It's kind of like having rugby or game fitness. All my mates that I've gone out with, some of them are probably about a bit podgy like myself, but you watch them like a steam train up a hill. Meanwhile, my brother and I are just hands on hooping, like, bro, can you slow down because you're going too fast?
Who's been the one mentor that's helped you in your rugby union career?
Oh, early days, I had my uncle who helped me out because he played for professional rugby with Richmond, and then I think he went to Italy as well, and Vata played for Mani Samoa as well. And then sort of the back end, once my brother come home, it was my older brother that would always, you know, be in my corner every time. So, um, I'm not saying that everything was roses when we were growing up. I used to get the meanest Hearties from my older brother over dumb things, but now like we've been like best mates for the last since he come home from Australia after having a short career in the NRL. Um, and then yeah, so when I missed out in 2007, I was ready to jump ship and go to Australia and go play in the NRL because that was always the dream, following my brother's footsteps alongside Johnny and Yogi Rogers and David, and that since they Wainui boys and Paul Fatueta. So that was the goal and was always the dream. But then my brother said, "No, mate, you ain't going nowhere." So I was like, "Hang on, what are you telling me? You're telling me I can't go to Australia and play a league?" He goes, "No, you've got unfinished business here. We're staying here. We're going to grind for the next 4 years to give you your opportunity." So because of him, he's the reason I never went to Australia and played in the NRL. He made me stay here and work. I was sort of in and out of the team, um, but him and I knew what the end goal was, and that was to make sure that we were part of the squad for the World Cup in 2011. So yeah, and to this date, he's still one of my mentors now. We're sort of similar in terms of what we do. He's doing a little bit of what I do without the mentoring side of it, but just trying to make sure kids get to school and things like that. So yeah, we're pretty close to everything we do. If I'm doing something, I always check up on if he wants to come and do it. If not, he's always messaging me if I'm keen to do a few things like go fishing, hunting, or even golf. Not that I'm not good at golf. I'm just chipping away at it. But yeah, my older brother at the moment in terms of mentoring side and someone that I look up to.
We'll finish up with there's the quad tournament in Cross College later term 2. Of course, Nelson won it last year. Who do you play first up at quad in 2025?
Oh, look, but I couldn't tell you. That's Namir knows all that stuff. I always go week by week, game by game. I never plan in advance for that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So, I think it's actually. I'm pretty sure we play the host in Christ. I think on the first game. So I'm gonna say Christ. I don't know why, but I feel like the last 3 years that I've gone, or 2 years that I've gone to quad, we've always played the host. So it's going to put it out there. I think it's Christ. So yeah, we're meant to have a game against them earlier this year because they were doing a bit of a tour. But I think they ended up pulling on it. So it would have been good if we got a taste of playing footy against them earlier on this year as opposed to later on for quad. But yeah, I'd probably say them. And I think as long as we can sort of get our game going, I feel like we'll have a good chance of trying to play for the championship in the second game. So it just depends if these boys can get their attitudes right on the right day. Like, CSW competition is totally different to quad and going on to the next step, but I think that's why Nemir's organised all these preseason games so that we can give ourselves that opportunity to play against top quality teams or schools, first 15s, to give us a chance to understand, okay, this is what we need to beat these top schools. And so these preseason games got to set us up, and hopefully it does exactly what we planned, and that we get a chance to go all the way to the final again this year in CSW. And we get a chance to go on and try and play in the top 32, I think it is, or top 16, and then obviously week in, week out, you don't know who you're playing until usually there's someone that figures it out, but I just wait until it's in front of me and set in stone who we're going to be playing. So yeah, I think Christ might be our team that we're going to play, and hopefully by then we've sorted ourselves out as a squad and the style of footy that we want to play.
Piri, it's been fantastic having you on the Hui. All the best on Saturday. We'll see you down there.
Cheers. Thanks, Riley.
It is Piri Weepu, former All Black, halfback, and doing great things at Wellington College. Now, Ryder, you've been pretty patient for nearly an hour, and we're going to play a bit of a game, which is called Picking the Winners for Club Rugby this Saturday. You want to give that a go? All right, so let's have a look. So, Swindale Shield, top competition in Wellington for Club Rugby. Who are you going to pick here between Wellington and Wainui that's been played on Thursday?
Wellington.
You're going to go Wellington? Oh, geez, okay, all right. Well, I'm going to go Wainui. Next one, Johnsonville versus your home club, Huddy Boys Maris. It's a pretty easy one, isn't it, for you?
Huddy Boys Maris.
Oh, yes, of course. You have to go Huddy Boys. Now I'm going to go Johnsonville because they're at home. Next one is Norths versus Oriental Rongotai.
North.
You're going to go Norths. Oh, both these teams are undefeated. So Norths at home, you reckon, eh? Yep, and I'm going to go Oriental Rongotai. Big forwards, I think they'll do the job. Next one, Parramatta Plumberton playing Maris St. Pat's.
Maris St. Pat.
Oh, so they've had 2 losses at home. You reckon they're going to win this Saturday?
No.
Oh, okay. But you're just picking them for the sake of it? Okay, all right. And I'm going to go the home side, Parramatta Plumberton. Next game, of course, is for the Morgan Trophy in the Bill Bryan Challenge Cup, is Petone versus Avalon. Petone, 2 good wins. Avalon, 2 losses. You're going to go Petone. Ooh, it's tough for a Hut boy to say, isn't it? Yeah. And we've got Petone as well for that game. I think they're the only one we're going to agree with today. 2 more to go. Tawa versus Porniki. Tawa, a win and a loss. Lost to Petone last week. And Porniki undefeated. Porniki. There we go. Oh, so I've gone Porniki as well. And last up, the Upart Rams versus Old Boys University, last year's champions.
Old Boys.
Old Boys is University. I'm going to go that one as well. So we've got some that are similar there, Ryder, and some we don't. So that is the Huddy Hui for tonight. Keep an eye out over the next 2 days. We'll tell you what games we are doing on Saturday, and hope you all have a good Easter. That is the Huddy Hui. Many thanks to Piri Weepu and to Ryder for coming on the Hui tonight. I'm Brad Hudson. Ciao for now.
It's the Huddy Hui. You can find Huddy Sports on Instagram and Facebook. And check out huddysports.co.nz.
Here on Huddy Sports, we'd like to thank our sponsors that have always been grateful to our causes here on Huddy Sports. Our first sponsor, Mike Penfold Plumbing and Drain Laying Limited. If you need any drain laying or plumbing assistance, give Mike Pinfold a call on 027 430 4351 or Pinfold Plumbing at extra.co.nz. Louise Reddy of New Zealand Travel Brokers. If you need any travel advice, she's local here in the Hutt Valley in Petone. Call 021 135 3076. Louise Reddy, Louise.Reddy at nztravelbrokers.co.nz. And also to Gavin Murphy and the team at Jen Hickton Funeral Directors. They've been serving Wellington families of their funeral directoring services since 1946. So go to jenhickton.co.nz. They're all local people here in the Hutt Valley and Wellington that service our greater community. We also like to thank Ben Belushnik Visual Designs that helps with the graphics here on Huddy Sports. As here on Huddy Sports, we're always wanting to keep our content free on YouTube. So the idea of sponsors, we can promote you on live stream, our social media pages and our website. It's good to support the local community and helps keep Huddy Sport free for all to watch. So if you're interested to helping Huddy Sports, go to huddysports.co.nz or to our email address huddysportsnz@gmail.com. Ciao for now.